Hello, and welcome to this exclusive training on how to be the have to hire coach. And I am so excited to officially be back to work after 8 weeks of maternity leave and sporadically working here and there. But today I just dropped my daughter off at daycare for the first time and it was rough, but I am here with you. I was a bowling mess. She was totally fine. I'm here with you now and just have such a deep appreciation for busy professionals, busy moms who, when you have time to work on your business, you want to make sure that you are being effective, that you have a high return on energy. So we're going to be talking about that today. So definitely grab a pen and paper and get excited because these are tangible action steps that you can take in your business to start moving the needle to call in a steady stream of consistent clients and cash flow. And if I know you are a healer, a person with a big heart who genuinely wants to serve the world using your soul gifts. And yes, money is absolutely part of this equation, but for you, it's a calling. It's a soul calling to be able to give back. Maybe for you, you have gone through a certain transformation and now you want to turn around and help other people who are struggling with the same thing. Maybe it's confidence or something with their health journey. And so that's what we're going to be going into today, is really drawing out your magic in your messaging so that you can start activating your audience and calling in these clients. So right now, no matter where you are in business, right? We hear these different objections. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned entrepreneur, you might be hearing lots of time and or money objections. And maybe you know that you've been talking to this potential client for a while, and you know that you can help them and that it would be a really good fit, but you then hear them say things like, oh yeah, let's revisit coaching in the next few months, or let's touch base next year, or I don't have the funds right now. Any form of the timing isn't right. Right? Some version of not right now, but maybe in the future when I'm more ready, when the timing is right, when my budget allows for it. In other words, you're getting friend zoned. My husband and I just talked about this the other day, because him and I had been on various dating apps before we met. And it's interesting because a lot of these dating analogies can be similar and compared to things that happen in business. So essentially, if you're not converting a lead to a client, you're getting friend zoned. Like, oh yeah, right now isn't the right time, but like maybe in the future. So it's kind of like that. My husband was like, oh, it would be like that girl that says like, oh, I'm working on my career right now, but like, let's date in the future. Right. So, all jokes aside though, this is what happens, right? In business, it's so much like dating. And so where a lot of coaches get stuck, I want to just highlight some of this before we go into the how to start attracting clients. I think where a lot of coaches get stuck is sometimes it's these blind spots that we don't realize the things that we're doing, right? Especially if you are new to business or if you haven't had like this training, right? I know as healthcare professionals or people in general, we weren't taught these things in school. But I think where a lot of coaches get stuck is when you're posting, you're getting stuck in this cheerleader energy. Like, you're never really challenging your audience. So they're inspired by your content and they really love you and you're like their cheerleader, but they never take action to buy from you. The same thing can be said for educating your audience. So if you're posting about hormone health as an example, and it's something that your client can Google, then they're like, oh, well, I can just Google that. Like, yeah, Lindsay's posts are really educational and like she cheers me on all the time, but they're never taking that next step to be converted from a lead to a client. Another place where coaches get stuck is overthinking content creation. So you're spending time every single week or every month creating this rock star content, but then you're hearing crickets. So this would be what I would call a low return on energy activity. So you're spending a ton of time, but you're not getting much back. So I'm going to say that again, a low return on energy activity would be something that you're spending a ton of time on, you're pouring so much into, but then you're not getting the return on energy back, meaning you're not getting clients, you're not getting, discovery calls booked. And so that can be something else where coaches are getting stuck, is that you're doing all of this, but maybe you're not really speaking to the how, and we're going to go into this, how to sharpen up your messaging so that whenever you're putting together this content, then when you're putting it out into social media world, you have a high ROE. Another place coaches get stuck is the lack of accountability. So like you're over there typing away behind your computer, you're trying to do it alone, but you're not seeing the blocks and blind spots that I'm talking about here. And sometimes it's an energetic thing that needs to be shifted to elevate your energy, to really lean in with your audience, kind of what I talked about with the cheerleader energy, and really being a stand for your clients versus being like the nice girl. Or it could be something practical that you might have a knowledge gap. You're not sure how to start strategically calling in clients. Another place, and this is the last point, where coaches can get stuck is that your audience isn't clear on how. How are you helping them? Even though you feel like you've shared 1,000 different times, like, hey, this is how I help you lose weight, or hey, this is the program that I have. Your audience isn't really connecting the dots on how you can help them, or they're not seeing it as a have to have. So client conversion, I want you to have your pen and paper for this one. Client conversion equals magnetic posts plus strategic action. I'm going to say that again. Client conversion is magnetic posts plus strategic action. So when you have those two components, you will have clients leaning in and feeling like you're actually having a conversation with them. That is when your offers are magnetic, when people start really dropping into your DMs and they're clicking that buy now button, right? They're not waiting until 3 months from now or next year or whatever that is. So this is what I'm going to be helping you do in this training, is having, and this is not manipulation, right? It's not like, oh, like how do we get clients to buy now? The work that I do with women is truly about revealing your inner radiance, uncovering your soul gifts, and helping you elevate your energy, confidence, and power so that when you put your content out there, it feels like your potential client is like having a conversation or a cup of coffee with you. And they're like, oh my God, this person gets me. Hell yes, I want to work with them. And by the time that they actually get into your DMs, it's an easy yes, right? So let's dive right into what this looks like. So like I said, grab your pen and paper if you haven't already, and definitely start taking notes because there's some juicy content here that we're going to be going through. Okay, so really quick, what is the difference between a nice to have versus a have to have? A nice to have item is something that you want, but it's either like a lukewarm desire, or like you don't really need it right away. You're not sure if you really need it. Maybe you can do it by yourself. As an example, even like I'm thinking of like a hand mixer, like our hand mixer had broken, right? And I don't really make cookies that often. So I was like, yeah, I don't really need to buy one right now. So I have it in my Amazon wish list. One of those little, like, it has like the two beaters on it. It's not like a KitchenAid. It's like the manual one. And I'm like, ours broke. I don't really need it. I don't bake enough to really need it. So it's on my Amazon wish list, right? I don't really want to spend the money on it. I don't bake enough, so it gets pushed right to the back burner. And I'm not exactly sure how having a hand mixer is going to improve my life. It's not really going to move the needle that much, to be honest, right? If I was a baker, maybe that would be different. And it's just not aligned with my values. So maybe that's a nice to have for me. A have to have is something with a high desire and urgency factor. So as an example, if we accidentally left my daughter's, she loves it, it's like an oval baby lounger and she takes naps in it. If we accidentally left that at my mother-in-law's, I would need to buy one right away to replace it because it has a high urgency. Like, I need that, right, for her to fall asleep. I am buying that item now and moving it from the wish list to my buy now, in my Amazon cart. So what is the actual difference? Like, how do we help you position yourself to not just be a nice to have, like that person, that client's, scrolling on your social media, they see your post. How do you move from being a nice to have to being a have to have? That's what this entire training is about. So I'm going to go over some principles and then give you tangible action steps here. So number 1, principle. The desire and urgency has to be big enough for someone to buy now. So as an example, my husband could have done, he refurnished the basement. It's his man cave, and he would not shut the hell up about it. He wouldn't shut up about it. He was like, oh my God, I want to get started on this. I want to hire this person to, come, do the drywall and all of these different steps. And he would not shut the hell up about it for like months, because it was something that he wanted, that he knew, that he wanted to have privacy, that, Lindsay could go down there eventually and hang out, that it would be kind of like his just private little man cave. Eventually he's going to put a bar in there. And typically he wouldn't spend the money that he would on a project like this, but for him it was a have to have, especially now that, we were having our daughter. He needed that privacy. So it moved from being a nice to have to a have to have for him. He could feel what it would feel like to be down there. It came alive for him in his mind and his imagination. Like, he has golf pictures up on the wall and like a little cozy couch and all of these little amenities that made him drive that desire to fruition. So he didn't wait till, he spent thousands of dollars on the construction of it, and like he made it work, right? It wasn't like, oh, I don't have the funds right now, or, oh, I'll push this off, right? When you have a have to have item and there's a high level of desire and urgency, there's very little room for like excuses or like, oh, I'll push it off, or, oh, I don't really need it. And so how do you translate this? How would you know if someone has a high level of desire and urgency for your product? You will know this based upon someone's Calendly, like say you have Calendly and they're booking in a discovery call. You can tell by their questionnaire answers. So do they take action right away to book a call with you? Do they write in detail and answer your questions, or is it like a one-word answer? Like, they're not really spending a lot of time on giving you a lot of detail. They just want to book the call with you to get a free call, right? That's kind of how you can tell the level of desire and urgency. And again, I always go back to dating. Like, if someone's avoiding you and they're not answering, and you're like, hey, I'm following up because I know you said you wanted to work with me, and they're kind of like avoiding or not really giving you direct answers, or they're kind of moving, like they're not answering you for days at a time, that's kind of a red flag to say, okay, maybe the desire and urgency isn't that high right now for this person. Maybe they give you just little bits of information, like I said, so they're not really, maybe they just want to get you on the phone call to pick your brain or whatever it might be. So what I do in that case, if I get somebody that has filled out a questionnaire and they're like, one-word answers, I won't actually get on the call. I'll say, hey, I need more information from you before we can get on the phone here. And that typically will either have them cancel the call, and that's okay, because I want to work with women who are highly motivated, who are ready to do the damn thing. I don't want to work with, if you're not sure, that's okay. But like maybe we revisit the conversation later on, because here's the thing. If someone invests with you and they're not really committed, or there's not that level of desire and urgency, then it's not going to be an effective use of either one of your time, right? So the pain of being where they are also needs to be bigger than staying where they are. I'm going to say that again. The pain of being where they are needs to be bigger than staying where they are. So if you look at like, I know I had a friend who was in a really bad marriage, And I said to her, what made you finally decide to leave? She said, it was the pain of knowing if I were to stay with him for another 5 years, I knew I would be miserable. So that kind of like forward projection helped her just, be able to gracefully exit. And the same thing goes for your client. The pain of being where they are has to be bigger than staying complacent where they are. And for a lot of people, they'll push it off and push it off and push it off until the pain gets so great that they have to move. So that was principle number 1 about desire and urgency. So number 2, principle, if your magnetic messaging is effective, by the time that this person drops into your direct messages, it's an easy yes. And there's no convincing, there's no like, oh, I don't know, right? Because you've already warmed them up. You've gotten them to know, like, and trust you. They know intimate details about your life. Like for me, I'm really an open book, and I'm always sharing different pieces of my life. I mean, a lot of you probably know about the challenges I've had with my dad, or how I left pharmacy back in 2019, some of the struggles I've had with my eating disorder. Like, you guys know a lot of my story, or, I've connected with you and you know me on that real life basis. And so hopefully there's that know, like, and trust factor that you're like, oh my God, of course. Yes, I would, if everything felt aligned, I would hire Christina, right? I want the same for you. So how can you start to infuse that authenticity and be real with your audience through this magnetic messaging? And that's what we're going to go through. Principle number 3, I want your messaging to be like you are sitting down with this person having a cup of coffee. So imagining that this client is real, this potential client, and that you're having a cup of coffee with them. What would you say to be a stand for their transformation? Right? That's what we really want to get into here. So those are just 3 really solid principles that you can start with to get into the energy of how to become in this have to hire category. So let's talk about some practical things that you can do to start infusing this into your content, this energy. So number 1, talk about results and how what you do is real for your client in day-to-day life. So as an example, communicating the deeper transformation you provide that they can't just Google. So as an example, if you're like, hey, I help you with weight loss. Okay, how is this person hiring you going to be changing their life on a day-to-day basis? So as an example, say that you work with moms on weight loss. What is the feeling that they really want when they lose the weight, right? Because we do things because we want the feeling that it gives us. So maybe this person wants to feel more confident in their skin, or when they walk into a room, they're not worried about how their clothes are fitting, or when they're taking a picture and posting it on social media, they're not hiding behind their kids, right? All of these practical things are going to be changing for them. So like, rather than them feeling self-conscious about their body, maybe they're going to be embracing their weight, no matter what size they are. And they're going to be radiating confidence when they walk into a room, no matter what room it is. And they're not going to need to hide behind their kids at their son's communion, when they're taking pictures or whatever that is. Communicating that in your magnetic messaging is a game changer, because what you're doing is you're painting a picture for what their life is going to look like before and then after they start working with you. So talking about those deeper results and the feelings that they're going to be feeling on a daily basis after they hire you. That's the first thing that you can do. The second thing is connecting the dots from your program to their values. So as an example, I know that you all truly value, being a healing presence for people. So I have communicated that, like, hey, I'm going to help you be the have to hire coach, because I want you to start impacting more people to help create that domino effect of transformation in your communities. So I'm connecting this training to your values, right? Speaking that language of healing and knowing what it is that you truly want, which, yes, it's more clients and cash flow, but it's also deeply connected to fulfillment, right? Because I know a lot of you are healers that went into pharmacy or healthcare or whatever it is that you're doing during the day for your 9 to 5. You went into that because you want to genuinely help people. And so I'm speaking that language through my messaging. So connecting the dots from your program to that person's values is super effective. Number 3, highlight past client results. This one's like super easy, right? So do you have testimonials? I always do a testimonial Tuesday, and I'm always having my virtual assistant create images with specific languaging around the life-changing results that people get when they work with me. So having that be consistent and infusing that and blending that into your content is key, because what's happening is you're showing client successes. You're showing social proof so that that person on the other side of the computer starts to see themselves as your client. The other thing that is another part of this, you're highlighting past client results, also the ripple effects, right, that it has on their life. So as an example, I helped somebody last summer who she actually just did like a 2-week trial of a program that I had. She wound up getting a raise, getting like a substantial raise in her job, a bonus. And her boss was saying to her how he's like, wow, I can really see a shift in your energy. And as a result, like I said, she got a raise. She got all of these amazing things that came out of doing this program and working on her energy. So what are the ripple effects that by someone taking your program, are they going to have more energy? How is this going to be real for them and show up in their life, in their health, in their career, in their energy levels? That's what we want to be communicating, that this one-time or multiple short-term investment for your client, whether it's a program or whatever, like one-on-one sessions, whatever you're providing, that this is going to have ripple effects for years to come. That it's not just a one-time, okay, here this is, and you're going to pay $2,000 and then I'm never going to see you again. No, you continue to have benefit even after they're done with the program. That's what I really want you to dive into, that deeper, the ripple effects and the lifelong transformation, the mindset shifts, the concepts, the principles that you're going to be teaching this person that will have this beautiful domino effect on their life. Okay, the next one, put the juicy result that your client wants in your subject line of your email. Or if you're not doing a newsletter or an email, put it at the top of your post, right? So have them leaning into your content from that very first sentence. So let's think of something else. Say that you're helping people with hormonal health, and you know that a big pain point of your clients is that they have hot flashes. So it could be something like, say goodbye to hot flashes for good. I don't know. I'm just like kind of channeling this as I go through. But what is that juicy, drool-worthy result that this person wants that you can either put in a subject line so you have an increased email open rate? My email open rates are like 50%. Because I've used these principles. Typically, an average email open rate is like 15%. So this does work. Getting that juicy result right in that subject line increases your open rates. And then, or just, like I said, putting it right at the top of your post. So something like, I always use this as an example. I was having panic attacks, and I had that was like the top of this post that I had done a while back. It was that, and of course people are leaning in like, oh, what? You had a panic attack? And then I started talking about how I had panic attacks in 2019 when I was about to leave Rite Aid. And that was really the final straw that made me quit being a pharmacist, because my health was being compromised. And I was like, I am so done with this. That was when I hired a business coach for $18,000. And I was like, I am done. I am making my business work. It was a line in the sand that I drew, that I committed to having my business be profitable. And I have never looked back since. I've been able to be a full-time entrepreneur for the last 5 years. So that's what you want to do, is start putting these juicy results into your posts. And then the last, this is kind of like a bonus one, but layer on juicy bonuses within your programs that they can't pass up. So as an example, if you can give something, like I actually just did this for somebody. I had a person who was like, hey, like I really want to do your program, but I'm starting this, like she was doing a 6-week program that starts soon. And I was like, hey, listen, if you invest right now, I will, number one, give you a payment plan, a flexible payment plan. Number two, I will allow you to have our start date for coaching within the next 3 months. So like she could go through the 6-week boot camp or whatever she had going on. And then we were committing to start within 3 months. And then the third thing I gave her was a bonus I knew she wanted, which was my Ascension collection, which has over 50 of my different meditations and hypnosis tracks that I know she loves. And it was an easy hell yes for her. So being in that have to have, she like had to say, she was like, it was an easy hell yes for her because of all of those things I layered on for her. To be flexible with the client and be of service, and to not just think like, okay, well, if this person says no or not right now, that you can't say, all right, well, based upon their objection, like, can I work with this person to say, all right, well, I hear where you're at, but I also want to stretch you and be a stand for your transformation. And that's what I did for this client. That's the difference in energy, right? Like whenever a client throws up an objection, are you backing away out of fear, or are you leaning in from service and saying like, I hear you here and I want to work with you. And what can we do to make this work? I think that's the difference too, is going back to principle number one. If there's a high level of desire and urgency, that person is also going to be flexible to be like, you know what, I want to make this work, versus like giving excuses, avoiding, and moving away. So far we've gone through a lot of these higher level concepts around magnetic messaging, different strategies that you can do to infuse client results or layer on bonuses so that it's really a no-brainer investment for your client. We also talked about going into the deeper transformation that you provide, but I know that you want to make this real for you, right? So we can talk about concepts all day, but until you actually start writing these magnetic messaging posts and learning how to implement these strategies, it's so easy to just be like, oh, cool, I went and listened to that free training, and then go back to your day-to-day life and then never implement. But I don't want that for you. I want you to be able to write magnetic, high return on energy content that has a steady stream of clients dropping into your DMs on autopilot. Like, who would not love that? Can I get a hell yes on that one, right? So that you're able to eventually transition out of your pharmacy job, your 9-to-5 job, so that you don't have to think about, okay, where are these clients coming from? Back to the equation that I talked about before, client conversion equals magnetic posts plus strategic action. So this is how you start to take intentional action steps to learn how to activate your audience to have people leaning in. And so you're converting your leads to clients. And I am super excited to help you with this. I got this divine download recently for this brand new program to help you with exactly this, helping you to call in consistent clients and cash flow. So what I'm doing is I'm opening up spots for an intimate 8-week boot camp called Confident Client Attraction. And I'm going to be teaching you several things. So number one, how to connect from your heart and write high return on energy content that you can use for the lifetime of your business. So I'm going to be teaching you specific frameworks that you can plug and play for your business so that you're speaking directly to the heart and soul of your client. So they're like, oh my God, this person knows me. How do they know me? Right? Like it feels like you're having a conversation with them. That's the level of, and actually, a lot of you who are probably listening to this have said that to me too. Like, I know that you get me. And that's really what you want. You want your content to be connecting and then converting. So that's what we're going to be teaching you. I'm going to be teaching you in this course. And we're going to be having this one-on-one feedback, right? Like I am going to be reading your content, giving you one-on-one feedback to help elevate the energy of your content so that you start speaking to the desires of what this person wants. We're going to be going through everything that I had talked about today, specifically talking about ripple effects of how is this actually tangibly showing up for your client. I'm going to be teaching you how to communicate the deeper transformation that you provide so that people aren't just like, oh, well, I can just Google that, right? No, we're not playing with that. I'm going to be helping you by curating this content so that you are truly owning your brilliance confidently with more power and calling in these clients. We're also going to be going through specific soulful sales strategy. As an example, a hand raiser post, which actually is what you guys did to be able to listen to this recording, right? So what I did was I had a specific strategy where I said, hey, I'm doing this have to hire training, and you had to raise your hand. You had to actually put something down and drop an emoji in order for you to get this training. So I'm going to be teaching you strategies like that because there are people in your world right now who are watching you, following you. But if you're just giving the content away and you don't know who's watching your YouTube videos as an example, or who's watching your trainings in your Facebook group, then they're just absorbing the content and then moving on with their day. The hand raiser post actually allows people to come out of the woodwork and you're like, oh, I didn't realize you were following me. Then it opens up a conversation. So I had a post the other day. It was like, what if we if we change the sales energy from closing the sale to opening up a conversation, right? So I'm going to be teaching you, as an example, how to do that strategy, that hand raiser post strategy, and apply that to your business. So the messaging frameworks, the soulful sales strategy is going to be something that you come back to for years to come in your business. So again, I'm explaining to you, right, the ripple effects of how this is going to show up in your life, in your business, so that you can continue calling in clients and cash flow for years to come. So this one-time investment in this 8-week boot camp is going to give you the strategy that can be applied to your business, that every time you sit down to create content each week, you're going to be able to use some of these things like the hand raiser post. We're going to be going through a bold expert post so that you're not just in that cheerleader energy or educational energy, but you're really leaning in and challenging your audience, not just inspiring them, but having them take an action step. We're going to go through connecting the dots to your client's biggest dream, their biggest desires, and speaking directly to that. And we'll also be going through things like how to create a drool-worthy results post. So like really honing in on what is the drool-worthy result that your client wants now, that they are just like so fed up with the old way of living. They're ready to step into this drool-worthy result, whatever that might be. We're going to really be applying this and making this real for your business. So again, we're blending magnetic messaging and strategic action to activate your audience and elevate your messaging so your leads are converting to clients and you're accelerating the path to be able to transition out of your current 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 or whatever, 12-hour shifts, whatever you're doing. Because trust me, I know what that's like. And I can't even imagine working 12-hour shifts with a child or a family, which I know a lot of you have. So this is what I'm inviting you into. This is going to be a really intimate container. And really, it's designed to help you to get these results quickly, right? So I know that time is of the essence for you. Like I said, especially you're a busy professional, busy mom. The value of this high touch container is in these 3 intentional pieces. So number 1, coaching. Like I said, you're going to be getting high touch one-on-one feedback on your messaging from me. And I'm going to be coming on live to help you with this. So I'm going to be in this group with you in this interactive space where you're going to be with other healers. That's the second part of this, is community and accountability. And like I said before, people who have accountability are 95% more likely to achieve their goals. So we're going to be setting some big goals together, income goals. You're going to have accountability in the group to be able to share challenges, wins, like, oh my God, I just got my first client, or oh my God, I just got a $3,000 sale. Like when you're in a community of people on the same growth journey, it stretches you. It allows you to be seen and witnessed and held in a different space than if you were just kind of trying to do this on your own, right? So elevating into your next level of leadership, self-expression, clients, and cash flow. And then the third piece of this is content. So again, you're going to have these principles and content pieces for the lifetime of your business. And like I said, this is how I've been able to scale my business to 7 figures. It's how I've been able to impact more people. And this is what I want for you, right? I want this for you as well. So here's the deal. I'm going to be real with you. Like I said before, I know it's so easy to listen to these free trainings and swear up and down, like, I'm going to implement this. I got this. Christina gave me these nuggets. But I also know that you don't want to leave money on the table and be like, oh, I'll do it like in 6 months, or, oh, I'll, eventually get to this, or, oh, I'm not ready yet, or all of these other things that we hear potential clients say to us, right? Like, I'm not ready yet. And I don't want you to wait another 6 months trying to go it alone. I have seen people over the past 12 years who swear to me like, oh, I'm going to work with you in 2024. Oh, I'm going to take action in 3 months. Oh, I'm going to da-da-da-da. And they never do. And I don't want that for you. And as someone who's been there, done that, I am here with you, loving you, holding you, and encouraging you every step of the way. And if nothing else, I want you to leave this training knowing that I believe in you. I know that that is something that has recently been reflected back to me as one of my gifts, that I truly see the best in people. And so why not bring that out? Why not bring that out into your content and have your true essence really shine through your magnetic messaging, confidently being able to message people and implement some of these soulful sales strategies. So we're going to be going through all of that together in this 8-week boot camp, Confident Client Attraction. We're starting at the end of May. And this is just a one-time pop-up group that I'm doing. It just really was very exciting and alive for me right now. And I want to see more healers step into their truth, light, and power. There we go. So let's do the damn thing together. I'm super excited about this. If this is a hell yes, and you're listening to me and you're like, oh my God, this sounds like exactly what I need, and you're in to create consistent clients and cash flow, your next step is to DM me with I'm ready, or like, let's do the damn thing, or something like that. Whatever feels really like, yes, I'm ready to go. And I'll share the details of the program. So I am just so grateful that you were here with me today. If you have questions, let me know. I love feedback. I love hearing from you. And like I said, I believe in you. I believe in your light and everything that you have to offer the world. So I will see you on the next training, or I'll talk to you in my DMs. All right, bye.